Hello, I am Carolyn Stewart, and I am a Soul-Aligned Business Strategist and founder of the Soul-Aligned Business Growth Hub, amongst other things, of course. Now, in this video, I'd like to chat with you a little bit about sales pages and some key components that you need to make sure that you have on your sales page so that it's effective and it helps to convert your audience into paying customers. So this is a kind of a snippet of a longer training that I actually did within the Growth Hub, and I always offer templates and additional resources within that space. So I'm going to walk you through kind of like an over-the-shoulder view of a sales page so that I can talk about some of the key components of a sales page that you need to have as a heart-led business entrepreneur. So let's pull up one that I've got here. Alrighty, so this is actually just the sales page for the Growth Hub. And the reason I want to show you this one is because there's some things that I did great and there's some things that are not so great and that I'm going to actually revamp. So this is a great opportunity for me to actually pick apart my own work and show you exactly what works and what doesn't. So this first component that you see when you first open up a sales page or a web page is what's called above the fold. So anything that you need to scroll down for is below the fold, right? So like if it comes up automatically, you see it above the fold. Now this is really, really important because what's above the fold is what's actually going to sell your offer. Everything else, like all of this stuff down here, is just extra. That doesn't mean it's not important. It just means that basically somebody has already made up their mind about whether they're going to say yes, or maybe they're on the fence, or they're going to say no from this very first component, this above the fold component. So there's some key aspects that you need to have. One is a very compelling and short headline. So the headline here obviously is the biggest text here. So transform your heart-led mission into a thriving business fast. I did this one great. And this is actually a really helpful thing to use ChatGPT for, or any kind of AI support. So if you have an idea of what you'd like to sell, you want to take your transformation and make it really, really specific. And you want to talk about what it is that you're actually offering, what that transformation is. That is your headline. So obviously, the transformation is the ability to actually transform your heart-led mission into a thriving business. And then I also talk about it being fast because that's part of it, right? I know I've been a heart-led business owner for 20 years, and sometimes it's really slow, and sometimes we need some additional strategy to help us kind of cut down on that, enough of the back and forth, and just shorten the distance, right? So that's a great way to do a headline. Something that's not so good is if you make it really long and you don't talk about the transformation. So maybe it's kind of vague or it's not really clear what the transformation is. Don't do that, all right? The second thing here that you need to have is a sub-headline. Now I kind of have two. I actually have a pre-headline and then I have a sub-headline here. All right, so this pre-headline could be a sub-headline as well. And this is where you want to talk about your niche. So that's your ideal customer or client, and really what it is that they're getting out of this. So why should they join, right? So this is good because it is talking about who it's for. So coaches, creators, and heart-led business owners. So you want in this above the fold section, they need to know what the transformation is. They need to know if it's for them, right? That needs to be right off the hop. And so this is very clear as to who this offer is geared towards. Now, you can absolutely put this below, but what I did was I used a little bit of a subheadline that talks about the challenges of being a coach, creator, or heart-led business entrepreneur, which is that we often end up in burnout because we're trying to do everything ourselves and we don't necessarily have the strategy. So kind of the old adage that the person starting the business isn't actually an entrepreneur. They just have that dream, that desire, that mission. So those are the things that I did great in this above the fold section. The part that I didn't do so good is that you cannot see a call to action when you first open this up. So you have to scroll down if you want to see a call to action. So a call to action is the next step that they would take. So whether they put in their email or they click a button to learn more or to sign up, right? So they can't actually see like what the offer is from this first component. So I need to move that up. And if you've got a sales page and you don't have your call to action at the top, you need to do that too. And then you also want to pepper it throughout the sales page as well. But those are the three big components. You need to have a compelling headline that includes the transformation. You need to have a subheadline or another component that includes the niche, and like really why, like why should they join? And then you need to have that call to action in that section as well. Bonus points for a really great image or mock-up. And so that's what this is called. This is a mock-up. I create a lot of mock-ups for the Growth Hub and make it really supportive for you to use and to bring in a lot of your content in a very compelling and visually pleasing way. All right, so those are the three top components for the sales page above the fold section. Now, I'm briefly going to touch on the other pieces, and perhaps I'll share another video about this because the above the fold is the most important part. So again, the other components are really related to how you share and like how you organize your content really. So what I like to do is block it. And I personally use ClickFunnels. That's my go-to system for this. And actually I'll pop a link below in the description so that you can check that out. And so we always talk about the why, like right off the hop. Again, that first part is going to be where they start to make their decision. The rest of it is to support that, to help affirm their decision. And so I talk about, you know, why they need to, basically like what is frustrating about where they're currently at and why they might want to or appreciate joining the Growth Hub. And then we talk about three different components that like you'll get out of it. And it's really important to be descriptive. Make sure that when you're in this lower component of it, it's actually less about the headlines, right? Like this is short and sweet. We want to get straight to the point. Down here, we're telling a story. We really want to make sure that it feels and reads like something that is more conversational and it's connected to deeper emotional components. All right, so you'll also want to talk about yourself. Make sure you've got a great photo of yourself. I have a ton of different ones that I like to use, and I change them up all the time. So I talk about, you know, my own journey with being a heart-led entrepreneur. And so it needs to be related to your offer. So don't just have one generic bio that you use over and over again. And again, this is where ChatGPT can be really helpful. You can plug in your bio and say, hey, I need a bio specific to this offer. Can you help me create that or change it around a bit? And then we go into what's actually included in the Growth Hub. So you get to see that down here. So be really specific. And what I actually did that is really great, and I would highly recommend it, is I do a video walkthrough of the Growth Hub so you can actually see it. Because one of the challenges of having a sales page that actually converts and is compelling, you know, we need to shorten that distance in terms of the decision making. It takes time for us to trust the person who's offering this, even if it's something that, you know, we really want, we really know would be beneficial for us. It's helpful to get a bit of a behind the scenes. It's helpful to actually have an image of that person and to start to establish that connection already. And then I'm a big fan of mock-ups and images and visuals. It's a big component of my brand. I really think it's important that it's visually pleasing, and I have a ton of awesome stuff in the Growth Hub, so it's easy for me to share about that. Now, the last components that I want to speak to are the money back guarantee. So this is your guarantee. You always want to make sure that you share about that if you have one. And it is important to have something. It's important that you clarify what your refund policy is, even if you don't offer refunds. Maybe you don't put it here, but it needs to be in the footer or somewhere on your page. That's just the price of doing business online. You need to be really clear about your terms of service, your privacy policy, and your refund policy. And I always include frequently asked questions. right? Because there's going to be a component in here where questions arise and the individual likely won't know how to ask them or who to ask. So this is a great way to get those additional components out and to challenge any of those questions that are arising. So that is all it takes to create an excellent sales page. Remember, it's all about the above the fold to start with. And then from there, it's the support of storytelling and connection that's going to make all of the difference. All right, now there's additional resources, as I shared, in the Growth Hub. So this is a great opportunity for you to actually check it out. I always offer a 7-day risk-free guarantee, so you can check it out at any time. And if it doesn't work for you, you'll probably get your money back. Wishing you a wonderful day, sending much love and many blessings.